everybody. It's Lauren Broom with Let's Talk About Pools. And I just wanted to say thank you to Patriot Pool Heating. They are the sponsor of today's podcast, which the interviewee or podcast guest is Tom Soukup with Patriot Pool Heating. So please listen into this episode after their front end ad. Because he has so much good information to give you on pool heating as we're heading into Memorial Day weekend. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast interview before the holiday. And if you have any questions, you can contact me or Tom Soukup. But again, thank you, Patriot Pool Heating, for sponsoring this podcast episode.
Is the amount of money that costs to run your pool every month killing you? Well, watch this video. So as a pool owner, you know that one of your most expensive monthly bills during the summer is your pool. Between electric and heating, we can save you a tremendous amount of money with variable speed pumps and with high efficiency heaters. And now with COVID going on, you're going to look for an extended season. So if you want to save money and extend your season to get the most out of your pool, call the experts at Patriot Pool Heating.
Hello, everybody, today, and welcome to my podcast, Let's Talk About Pools. And on my episode today, we're going to be talking all about pool heaters with Tom Soukup with Patriot Pool Heating Company. Welcome, Tom. How are you?
How you doing today? I'm doing well.
Awesome. So tell me about you and your company.
So my name is Tom Soukup. I'm an we started out as an HVAC contractor for the last 20 years. We're based in Southeast Pennsylvania, where we have about 14 inches of snow right now. We cover Southeast, Northeast Pennsylvania, New Jersey, parts of New York, Maryland, and Delaware. And about 3 years ago, we spun off Patriot Pool Heating, and we specialize in commercial and residential pool heating.
Wow. And you got a big area. That's a lot of states.
Yes, we cover a pretty good sized geographic area. So our client base is anything from large commercial water parks, indoor and outdoor water parks, to backyard residential swimming pools.
And that's even a large customer base, from the little tiny pool in somebody's backyard to very large water parks. Wow.
Yes, it takes a while to realize, but the fundamentals are the same. You're heating water. It doesn't matter if it's water for, 750,000 gallons or 20,000 gallons. It's knowing the client, what the client wants, knowing the properties of water, and how to make it warm and comfortable for the client.
I got to tell you, I appreciate a heated pool. Even though I'm in Florida, I still like when a pool is heated. I just like that warm water to go swimming in. If it's too cold, I'm like, I ain't going in it.
Absolutely. And it's, it's funny, you go to some of these places like YMCAs and those types of organization gyms, and people that swim every day know when that pool is 1 degree cooler.
Yes, they do. You got those customers that will actually know. They stick their toe in it and they go, that's off by a degree.
Yes.
They don't even need a thermometer. So how did you start doing pool heaters?
So we were a commercial HVAC contractor that specialized in hot water heating systems and domestic hot water production. And we were at a YMCA one day, and the gentleman there says, "Can you fix that box over there?" I look at it and I'm going, "Yeah, what is it, for your pool?" He goes, "Yeah." He said, 3 or 4 people have been here and nobody's been able to fix it. So we look at it and took our fundamentals. Essentially, it's a water heater with a few different things on it. So we repaired that and fixed the problems that other people couldn't solve. And we got the next phone call, the next phone call, the next phone call. And now it encompasses 85% of my business.
Wow. And that was, how many years ago was that at the YMCA? How long ago?
About 3 years ago.
Wow. So that's kept you really busy. Word of mouth has really gotten out.
Absolutely. And we also, we think out of the box too. Most heaters are improperly sized, improperly installed. As you see, the system that's behind me is we prefer in commercial, especially outdoor environments, to remove one large heater and put in multiple small ones. They get redundancy, better return on investment, because in a commercial pool, heating is your highest monthly energy consumer.
Wow. So what makes you guys different from a lot of the other companies up in your area?
What makes us different is we came out of the HVAC and plumbing world. So we are licensed for gas, electrical, and all mechanical contracting. So we've taken the stuff for pool heating and the stuff they use for commercial HVAC and brought it together to build a solution. And when we put a solution in, we also offer to our customers a 3-year warranty on our systems. Unless there's a pool water issue or act of God, we offer 3 years workmanship and also 3-year preventative maintenance, parts, and labor.
Wow, that's a pretty gracious warranty. I know a lot of companies don't offer that length of warranty. That means you really count on your work being done very well.
Absolutely. And we've also aligned with the major manufacturers and became certified installers for them, which gives you a longer term warranty, which we pass on to our customers. The norm in the industry, at least on the commercial and the residential side, people feel they should replace a pool heater every 2 to 3 years. So pool heaters should really last from 7 to 10 years if they're taken care of properly. But unfortunately, they're installed, especially in backyards. They're installed, they're put there, and nobody looks at them until it doesn't work. They do require maintenance.
What are some of the big problems you see when you walk onto a property what are some of the common problems you see that other installers are doing that you guys may have to correct, or when you have to take the old system out and put a new system in? What are some of the gross negligent type things you've seen or gross issues you've seen out there?
Well, unfortunately, we see this both in residential and commercial on 80% of the jobs. It's not installed to the manual. The manufacturer makes that nice thick book for a reason, and it tells you how to install it. They also do have tech support that you can call. So we very rarely as a company call tech support for a technical problem, but we'll call them for pre-sale support before we install it to get all the questions answered before we're in front of that customer. So to make sure, is this correct? Is that correct? Okay, we can do this if there's something ambiguous in the manual. So misinstallation is one of the biggest problems and the biggest danger. Gas sizing. Indoor commercial pools, we see incorrect venting all the time, which creates carbon monoxide issues. And you have chemicals in that room. It's a very corrosive environment. Improper use of materials. And the other thing that's important with any heater that you put in, just like your home or your car, you would not maintenance your vehicle. You need to maintenance your pool heater. Rodents on outdoor pools love to get in there and eat the wires and make nests. You turn them on, you get a puff of magic smoke, and that's the end of your pool heater because the rodent made his home in there.
Yep. I've got so many pictures I've seen in Facebook groups and stuff where we've got some nesting in pool heaters and that kind of thing. People have found snakes in their pool heaters, I think.
And that's why in commercial environments, we actually take a system like this where it'll be 2 heaters, 3 heaters, 4 or 6 with either the master temps or the ETIs for higher efficiency. And we custom fabricate that rack all in the shop, and it comes in as an assembly, but we elevate it off the ground. Number one, I'm not getting any younger, and bending over to work on a pool heater is no fun. And it's much easier when it's elevated to work on to see what you're doing, but you're not going to have rodent issues because it's up in the air. Rodents don't like to be open. They want to be in a nice nestled corner. Also, the other advantage is part of the standard operating procedure on commercial pools on their checklist that they have, the CPOs. We add a page to it, go past the heaters every day. If there's water on the ground, there's a problem. If there's this, so they can see it and see if it's coming from the heater, and they can be proactive instead of reactive, which saves a lot of money.
Yes, it does. People forget that preventative maintenance, if you don't do it, your equipment will find the time for you.
Yes, and that's why we offer on commercial, as part of the 3-year warranty, we also do 3 years of preventative maintenance. And on the outdoor systems, we roll that preventative maintenance into startup. So when they have a pool contractor that opens the pool, that takes care of their water and all that stuff, after everything's circulating, they are not to turn the heaters on. We come, we clean them, maintain them, go through them, turn them on, and send them to factory specifications where they need to run.
Awesome. So for our audience, what are the different types of pool heaters that are available out there?
Well, see, the technology is really coming far, just like with variable speed pumps, where they're going to be required and you can save a ton of energy. Well, people are looking past pool heaters, but I promise you the Department of Energy is not looking past pool heaters. It will come soon enough. So like the ones behind me, the Master Temps, which are great workhorse heaters, they have an 83% combustion efficiency. So for every dollar of fuel you put in, 83% of that is burned and used for the pool. You do have some loss due to thermal regulators and stuff like that. The other option we offer is condensing units, which are 96% thermal efficient.
Wow.
So these are combustion efficiency. Thermal efficiency is by 96 cents of every dollar actually gets into the pool water. So you're getting much more efficiency. You're picking up about 20 to 25% in realized heat back to the pool. There's also heat pumps available. Like down in Florida, heat pumps are phenomenal because heat pumps have what's called coefficient of performance, the COP. So COP means for every dollar of energy you put in, if you have a 5.0 COP, you get $5 of energy out of it. But you need to read that little line on the bottom of the chart. There's certain parameters. You have to have 80-degree pool water, 80-degree outdoor temperature, 80% relative humidity, which in Florida, that's very simple to achieve.
Yes, I have to agree with. Yes.
Yes, in the Northeast, that gets a little difficult to achieve that.
Well, that explains why we see so many heat pumps down here.
Absolutely, and it's a great alternative because, again, for every dollar you're putting in, you're getting $5 in energy out. So that's why we go with multiple units for larger pools, where we could do what's called lead lag. So one heater is the lead this week, next week the next heater is the lag, is the lead. So it number one, it balances out the load across them. Also, it only turns on the amount of heat that you need. So before Memorial Day, every heater will be screaming to heat those pools up. But once we get into June and July, it'll only bring on what it needs. So it saves a tremendous amount of energy, but it also gives redundancy. So from our standpoint as a service company, one of those heaters start flashing on a Saturday in June, they'll call us about it, but we don't need to go there on Saturday. We can go there on Monday because they still have heat. And it also makes the client very happy because their customers ultimately are still able to use a warm pool.
Yep. So any other types of heaters that you didn't mention yet?
Yeah, one of the other things that we totally specialize in and we have kind of taken is we use condensing boilers, which are used at home, wall-hung boilers, and go through titanium heat exchangers. We do that primarily on indoor pools. So most indoor pool clusters is what I call them, is you have a pool, you have a hot tub, and you have either a kiddie pool or a lap pool. Well, in an indoor pool, as most people that manage them know, the air temperature is warmer than the water temperature. So you don't have evaporation. So you don't have heat loss. So the contractors for years and engineers and architects have been putting in these oversized heaters that run very short. So it's like going down your block and you have a stop sign every 100 feet, putting your accelerator pedal to the floor, jamming on the brakes, accelerator pedal on the floor, jamming on the brakes. What is that going to do to your car? Well, it does the same thing to your pool heater. So these units that we fabricate and put together with all off-the-shelf products, we just put the thing together, is we use modulating units, which put the amount of energy in based on the demand. So it's like the accelerator pedal in your car. You need to go slow, it goes slow. You need to go fast, it goes fast. And then we use titanium heat exchangers, which have a lifetime warranty on them. And you're getting super, super efficiency and redundancy on them.
Wow, that sounds really cool. And I do have some listeners that have indoor pools because they might be up north, or even are people that are in Parks and Rec.
Yep.
They tend to have a lot of large indoor facilities as well. So that will be interesting for them to hear about that type of system.
So one of the things that we do that really I think sets us apart is we actually do the mathematical calculations of what it takes to heat that pool. So everybody for years has been going, you have to raise that pool temperature 1 degree per hour. Well, on an indoor pool that they only drain once a year, when you talk to the operators, they actually go, no, we don't need to heat that pool 1 degree an hour, because once we raise it the temperature, we're only maintaining the temperature. And when we drain it, we have 3 days to heat it. So there's two things. You need a certain amount of heat to maintain the pool temperature, then more heat to bring that temperature up. Outdoor pool is totally different. But on an indoor pool, most operators are going, we can go with a smaller unit and save energy because we only drain the pool once a year, and we don't care if it takes 24 or 48 hours to get up the temperature because the facility is closed. That allows us to put in a smaller unit that's much more efficient. So we are saving most of our customers with indoor pool complexes anywhere from 40 to 60% in energy.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Yes.
That's tremendous. So what about the outdoor pools you said? So it doesn't work the same for those. So what do you do there on sizing and that kind of thing?
Well, we do the same thing with sizing, but you have heat loss because you have a temperature differential that's opposite. So here, like we do a lot in the Poconos in Northeast Pennsylvania, even in June and July, we'll have 60-degree nights. So you have a 60-degree night and you have 80-degree pool temperature. That's a 20-degree differential. So we have a formula that is a proven formula, that is an engineering formula of how much is lost and transferred. So we know we need this much heat to maintain that temperature. We also suggest with saving energy is going to thermal covers. Put a thermal cover on. You will literally say your heat loss is 200 BTUs to the square foot. When you have a 5,000 square foot pool, that's a lot of energy. Literally $50 bills going up in the air. If you can cut that in half with a thermal cover, that is tremendous. You save a lot of energy. We have clients up in the Poconos that have, 250,000 gallon pools that are 5,000 square feet, and they're burning 25,000 gallons of propane a year. That's,
Wow.
$1 a gallon, that's 25,000 gallons. So if we can save them 20%, the ROI to go into high efficiency is about a 2.5-year payback. So they're getting the payback before the warranty expires.
That's awesome. So let's change gears a little bit. What's the difference between residential and commercial pool heaters?
Well, the difference between residential and commercial is residential is normally a single heater. It's being used for a much shorter season, and there's not all the regulatory constraints on it. So it falls under the residential building code and some of the plumbing code and stuff like that. They're usually not vented because they're sitting outside. When you go to commercial now, you have ASME, the American Society of Mechanical Engineering, that is involved. So they have to be ASME heaters. Like if you see the one behind me, the headers there are brass colored, they're bronze, not plastic. You also, in most states, Pennsylvania, all the states we deal with, Florida, Texas is real tough on it. You have to comply to what's called CSD1, commercial safety devices. So that is a totally separate department that is part of boiler inspection and pressure vessels so people don't get hurt. You have to have additional safeties on there of that the main pool water can't get to be more than 110 degrees. You have to have limits. There's just so many more regulations on a commercial heater. And unfortunately, I see residential contractors trying to work on commercial equipment and treat it the same way. They are two different animals. You know, you're dealing with chipmunks and elephants. They're two totally different animals. So one thing I will say out there is, hey, try. That's how you learn. But read the manuals. Reach out for the tech support. Your manufacturer resources are phenomenal to give you information on that.
People forget about those manuals sometimes.
Yes.
They're important for preventative maintenance, installation, all kinds of things. So how do you choose the correct heater for a client's pool?
Well, the biggest thing is finding what the client's needs are. Not everything is a one-fit solution, which in residential, we see that very, very often, especially in the Northeast. Everybody gets a 400,000 BTU heater, no matter what. Everybody gets the same heater. It could be a 5,000 gallon pool that they maintain the temperature. They don't need to heat it up that often. They're still getting a 400,000 BTU heater. That is doing an injustice to the client. Ask the client the questions. They're the one purchasing it. What are their habits? What are they going to do? One of the things we learned in the plumbing and heating world is we would always ask a client when we were putting a heating system in, what is your 5-year plan in this home? A lot of them would look at me puzzled and they would go, well, why are you asking that question? Well, are you going to add a master bath that has a jacuzzi tub, that has a bunch of shower heads? Or are you going to potentially have in-laws moving in or parents moving in as they're getting older? It's much cheaper to size it when you're installing it than it is to redo it down the road. And our clients would appreciate that, hey, we're doing an extension now, or the kids are going to move out, they're going to college, and we size it towards that for expansion. And that's the things we always ask the customer. What are you using this for? What is your goal? If you're using the standard Memorial Day to Labor Day, okay, we figure out the calculations. But we have some clients that say, hey, my daughter's birthday falls in October and she likes pool parties. Well, that's a different game because now we're getting 40-degree air temperature. So now we got to allow for that. Ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask those questions.
And that's taking that time with the customer. It's good customer service, but also taking the time with the customer to ask the questions instead of trying to come in, stroll in, and give a quote really quick.
Absolutely.
And you don't have all the information. You're going to be a better pool heating company if you are doing all your homework up front.
You're just going to be a better service provider in general. We provide, I feel, sometimes too much information to the client because we'll give them a heat loss calculation of actually what it needs, and we give them options. Here is your options, and here's what the longevity is of the unit. This is what's going to happen. This is how it's going to be. Here's what your projected energy costs are. A lot of our commercial customers, if they show me how much fuel they used the year before, and I go to the higher efficiency units, I can calculate out their fuel savings within 10%. Now, when you show them that, they look at that and they go, wow, we didn't realize we spent that much money on fuel to heat that body of water out there.
Yeah. I know you mentioned it earlier. It was kind of embedded in some other questions that I asked you. What is the life expectancy of a swimming pool heater?
A properly installed and maintained swimming pool heater should be anywhere from 8 to 12 years.
Gotcha. And how can we make pool heating systems more efficient, Tom?
By understanding what the customer wants and giving them options. It is not a one size fits all, like I said before. You have 83% units out there. You have 96% efficiency units. And the advantage we have as a heating contractor from where we come from is we'll redo the person's heating system in their house and put a heat exchanger on it to heat their pool in the summer. So they get double duty there. So perfect, for instance, we were at a job, we got called in on an indoor residential heater that was totally misinstalled. It got totally destroyed within 2 or 3 years. They called us in, another pool contractor called us in because he knew this was outside of his realm of expertise. We went with the customer. We saw that he had 3 different heating systems for the house, a heating system for his indoor pool, a separate thing for his natatorium dehumidification. So we ended up, after talking to the customer, and about 2 weeks worth of work and calculations, actually redoing the complete heating system in his house, and brought it all together. That one system heats his domestic water, his domestic heat, his pool heating for his indoor pool, his spa heating for his indoor spa, and his dehumidification system.
Wow.
Yes.
That was an efficient project that you did.
Yes, it was.
Wow. And I'm sure the customer afterward is very thankful because he's seeing the cost savings at the same time.
Absolutely. And also the way we do things is we put stuff up on board. We paint everything. We make it look like a Picasso. You're putting this investment into your home, into your largest investment for residential. We want to make it look, when you look at it, it's stunning. That, wow, this looks beautiful.
Final notes, anything you'd like to add to anybody in the audience that's listening, that sets you apart from the other companies, things that you feel should be talked about in this sector of the industry? People don't talk about pool heating too much.
No, we don't. So
I haven't seen a lot of podcast interviews or a lot of things talked about with pool heating, but it is something that is a favorite. People like having a heated pool, so definitely need to talk more about this sector of the industry.
So we are the only company in the Northeast that I know of that specializes in pool heating. We saw an opportunity there, and it just naturally worked very well for us. So if end users, residential customers that own a pool, watch your podcast, the most important thing is, if you're uncomfortable with the answers you're getting from your contractor or your pool person, do your research. Really do your research out there. You got to do your due diligence. For people that are CPOs that manage commercial pools, I really feel the heating needs to be done by a heating professional that truly understands the needs of what you have. We come in as a company most of the time is after they've had multiple failures and issues of not satisfying their needs, that we've come in and satisfy their needs. Like especially for commercial, we offer a Wi-Fi app controls temperature for your bodies of water. That's great because you can save energy, but also the pool manager can manage it. And what really sets us apart is our level of training. We are certified by every major pool heating manufacturer as an authorized service provider and a warranty provider. We lean on them often for pre-sale support. And we are also licensed and certified as a mechanical contractor, which allows us to do gas, plumbing, and electrical. And we stand behind our product. The biggest thing we do offer is the level of knowledge and giving the customer options and giving them answers to their questions, and real answers, not fluff answers, factual answers, and standing behind what we do.
For the certified pool operators that might be listening in my audience, is there anything that they can do differently that you feel affects how a heater runs?
Well, in general, with equipment rooms and equipment pads, is every day part of your inspection or your list of things you go through. You check your ORP and your pH and your chemicals. Here in Pennsylvania, they check them 3 to 4 times a day. Check your equipment room. Understand your equipment room. When we do an equipment room over, we label everything with different color tags. So we do the backwash, and we color code them, and we put a manual together. But really talk to the service people that come in and understand the equipment room. If something doesn't look right and they say it's right, it's usually not right. On an indoor heater, if you see your flue pipe that goes out to the roof is all rusted and everything else, that is not right. If it doesn't look right, it is usually not right. If you see a puddle of green stuff on the floor, that is your heat exchanger melting on the floor. make the phone call. Even though we only service certain areas, I have no problem talking to people, helping people out, and trying to steer them in the right direction. The other thing is belonging to the local organizations. Like I'm a board member of Penn Jersey Pool and Spa, which is part of NESPA. Get involved in those organizations. There is a wealth of information out there. The dues, the annual dues will pay you back tenfold in the information you will get.
I totally agree on that. It's just additional education. Let's talk a little bit about, what about water chemistry and water balance when it comes to pool heaters?
Water chemistry is so important. We believe, and we don't deal with a lot of it on that end of the business, but we believe in balancing by the LSI, because water is aggressive. It's either going to take or it's going to reject. It is the natural balance of equilibrium in life, which everything wants to do. You're either going to accept it or you're going to reject it. And that's what happens in pools. So when water is low or negative on the LSI, it's looking to get those minerals. It's scrounging. And what will happen is it will literally eat heat exchangers apart. I believe in your regiment of water testing, which a lot of people don't do, is test for copper at least weekly. We use a spin touch because we don't like doing drops. So we use a spin touch, which tests copper and everything else. So the first thing when we go out to a new heater is we test the water. If you see copper in that water, your heat exchanger is being eroded.
Gotcha.
That is very, very important. Check your water balance.
LSI, check the LSI, make sure
Yes,
it's in balance,
LSI.
definitely. And that's something that our regular everyday pool operators are going to be handling, and they can affect these beautiful heaters that you install just by not maintaining their water chemistry balanced per LSI.
And it's just not the heaters. It affects pumps, it erodes pumps, it erodes all kinds of stuff. You start getting a high TDS, it's like sandpaper through those pipes.
Yep. Just I wanted to hook in that certified pool operator side of things with the pool heaters that we were talking about. So that's awesome. We did that there. Is there any final thoughts you want to leave with the audience?
Yes, one final thing, training. If you are a contractor or a pool builder or anything like that, get trained. Like us through Penn Jersey, we're offering a hands-on training back to our membership in March. We're hands-on going through theory and also hands-on. Get your training. Ask the questions. Ask. If you're a pool operator and something is not right, call somebody. We can be contacted, patriotpoolheating.com. You go to our website, or commercialpoolheatingpa.com. Send us an email at info@patriotpoolheating.com. We will get back to you and talk to you and try to steer you in the right direction.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being on my podcast episode today, Tom.
Anytime. I really enjoyed it.
I did too. You have a wonderful day.
You too.